Option one, I do exactly what you're saying and I sanction Rogan and I take his job away. That's one option. I think I'm not going to do that. Or we could go with option two where you go f*** yourself. How about that? How about we go with option two? Why don't you go f*** yourself, Bob Iger? All right, so we got two stories I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about first the Dana White story where he threatened to resign as the UFC boss if Joe Rogan faced sanctions for a scandal that happened a couple years ago. And truth be told, I heard this story a month after it happened. I was sworn to secrecy. I wasn't allowed to put it out. But it absolutely had a huge impact on my impression of Dana White. It was already, obviously my impression of him has always been positive, but this is one of those things that really made it really positive. So I'll tell you what happened there. They allude to it in this clip here. Dana talks about it specifically. So obviously, the story's out, so I can probably provide some additional details on it. and then we're going to talk about this thing that happened between Jamie Varner and Laura Sanko's really bizarre interaction where Varner he went really hard on her for some reason. Like he just out of nowhere just attacked Laura Sanko, and he was really nasty about it. And then she responded. Dude, Laura Sanko has really good social media response game. She's if you remember the thing with what's her name, that gigantic Australian chick. Good God, what is wrong with me? You know who I'm talking about, dude. That girl, Sanko buried her, dude. Buried her with her response. Like just a spear to her heart. This one, I think she did a really good job burying Jamie Varner without being nasty about it at all. I think she does a really good job of matching energy. You know what I mean? And what was the other one too? When that guy was like, oh my God, when Laura Sanko is doing her commentary, she's always doing so many sex sounds. You think she's not doing that on purpose? And she said, you're probably a guy. I think she said, you sound like a guy who would jerk off to women's tennis. That was pretty good, dude. Anyway, so she got a good game, but I wanted to talk about it because, I don't know, Jamie Varner's fucking nasty for absolutely no reason. And so we'll talk about what he said and the merits of what he said because there are none, right? All right, so let's just actually jump right into this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. If you haven't watched the Diddy video I just put out, dude, you should definitely go watch that because Diddy is finished. Diddy is done. He got raided by the feds. He has fled apparently to Antigua. And to any of you stupid little cockbags who talked shit in the comments and said that it was clickbait that he fled the country, why don't you go Google that before you say that, you fucking idiots. Sorry, I'm very tired. I was partying with my friends in Scottsdale this weekend. My best friends in the world. And we had an absolutely incredible time, but I am tired and thus on a hair trigger. So if someone really wanted to bait me in the comments and, you're really hoping that I talk shit back, today would probably be a good day to do that. Because if I read it, I'm definitely going to say something back. So I'm actually, now that I just said that out loud, I'm definitely not going to read the comments because I don't have time to be doing this and I won't be able to help myself. So let's jump right into this and let's hear Dana and Lex Friedman talk about the story and then I'll tell you what I know about it. Let's go.
I saw it in the interview on Ivory Keenan Wayans.
I value loyalty a lot. And I remember there was a moment not too long ago, maybe a year ago, when I was sitting with Joe and he had a phone call with you. Joe was getting canceled for something. And they didn't want him commentating the fights. And you on the phone offered your resignation over this. I got teary-eyed over that. That's such a... You're a good man,
Thank you.
That was powerful.
Anybody who is with me, has been with me, knows. When you're with me, you're with me. It's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. I'm not one of these guys that is going to roll over and... it's like going through COVID. I wasn't laying any of these people. Some of these people have been with me for 20 years. We're gonna lay them off. This motherfucker will burn,
Yeah.
before I would do that to my people. It's just never. None of that type of stuff is ever going to happen while I'm here. I can't say what's going to happen when I leave, but when I'm here, the people who are with me and have been with me, they know exactly what's up, and Joe knows what's up, and again, it's a two-way street. Joe Rogan has been very loyal to me, and I am very loyal to Joe Rogan.
Dude, listen, anybody who knows me knows, they really know me, that you know why that story is like, there isn't a thing that a person can do that will impact my opinion of them better than that. You know, like the way that I look at the world essentially is like, if you're going to gauge a person, your criteria is relatively simple. You know, what is their impact on the people that they interact with, right? And so as an example, if a person sits in their house all day long, and what they like to do is they like to do math problems. That's their favorite thing in the entire world, is they do math problems. And so they sit and they do math problems. They're happy as a clam. They go, wake up, do math, they eat, they go to sleep. It's like, okay, like, cool. They are a net zero, right? They have no impact one way or the other, right? If a person goes around and sucks people dry, like Josh Fabia as a perfect recent example, or Diddy, right? Diddy promises people things, and then he ends up screwing them over, and then he feeds them drugs while they're out partying, and then he takes advantage of girls, and he screws them up mentally, and then he traps girls into this and that. He blows up someone's car, you know, tricks straight guys into putting things in their mouth that they probably didn't want to. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking piece of shit, Diddy. And so you're going to get exactly what's coming to you. I'll make jokes about you in my other videos, but if you want to know what I think of you, I think you're filth, like human trash, a net negative by 100 miles. And, you know, people who dedicate themselves to like doing the right thing and helping people, like if they get satisfaction out of genuinely like helping people, I'm like, okay, that person's awesome. But nothing, like in my world where I look at a person, I'm like, that dude is solid. Then when a person is willing to put themselves at risk or put things that are important to them at risk in defense of their people, like of their, you know, like put it up for their boys, you know what I mean? Like that. So I heard that story after it happened, and you know, it was someone that obviously someone was friends with Rogan. Obviously I wasn't allowed to say anything about it, and I didn't. Obviously, like I was saying, if I tell somebody I'm not going to tell anybody, I won't tell anybody. You know what I mean? But that had to do with the thing with when Rogan, you know, they tried to smear Rogan. Oh, Rogan said that ivermectin works. And so they're all, let's get this guy. Let's get him. And they ran the smear campaign of him using N-bombs, took him out of context, pretended like a person saying, hey, why is this word so impactful? They're all, you see, he said it. You see, he said it. It's basically the same as him, you know, running a lynch mob. It's like, the whole thing was so dishonest and so stupid. But nonetheless, you know, it was obviously coordinated, just like the thing with Russell Brand and all these other guys that, you know, get out of line, have too big of a platform, that try to discredit them. And that was their big moment. I know exactly what event that was too, because Gabrielle always talk about this in our show just launched. You can, the links in the description if you want to check out the clips. Like we just launched a few clips. They're, you know, literally just getting started over the last few days. But in one of those, she's like, the way that my memory works, and it's so true, I didn't even think about this, is like the way I remember when things happen are two ways. Specific sexual sessions that I had with her and UFC. That's like literally how I'm like, oh, that's the trip where we blah, blah, blah. Or that's UFC, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I like itemize memories in my brain. It's just so fucking bizarre, but 100% true. This event in question was UFC 271, which was in Houston. And it was when Israel Adesanya fought Robert Whittaker. And leading up to the fight, you know, they did that smear, and Disney hit up Dana, and they told him that he needs to sit out. And if I remember correctly, it was right after the Whoopi Goldberg. I'm pretty sure it was like something like that happened where they had just sanctioned someone on the other side. I think it was Whoopi Goldberg, right? Where they were like, and they said something like, well, look, like we just made a thing about Whoopi Goldberg sitting out. We can't have Rogan have the same thing, and he just gets to be out there commentating, you know. And Dana told them exactly like they said. This was talking to Disney. He's exactly like he said. He said, you want Rogan to sit out? I'll fucking resign. He's like, you can have my job too. And they backed down, obviously. You know? But like, what if they didn't? You know what I mean? What if they didn't? So I don't know, man, that kind of thing. And then all the stuff with COVID, everything he said there, honestly, even more so the things he said there. Because, you know, like Rogan is a big kind of public deal where like you could, if you're, I don't know, like cynically evaluating something, Rogan is a very valuable person given his stature publicly, right? Like it's valuable to be friends with Rogan. So you could look at a thing like that and go, oh, well, maybe personal gain. I'm not saying that's not how I looked at it at all, but I'm just saying like a cynical person could look at it like that. But when you get into COVID and you're just talking about employees, random faceless publicly employees, and he's like, we're gonna have to lay them off. I'll burn this company to the ground before I do that. Come on, dude. I mean, that's the most gangster shit ever. And people love to hate on Dana over the fighter pay thing. I never do, because I have, you know, like I just look at things holistically. It's like he owes his responsibility as the chief executive officer is to the shareholders. Okay. His job's not to be nice. And he very clearly takes care of people who are a part of the organization. Right. But yeah, dude, that story, that's about as solid as you can get right there as far as I'm concerned. And man, I wish I could have heard that fucking call, dude. I wish I could have heard that call.
Hey, man, this is Disney, you know, and I'm giving you a call personally because we think we just need to make a statement here about Joe Rogan. And it's definitely not because he said ivermectin works. It has nothing to do with him saying Fauci's a fucking miniature little gnome liar who's definitely making billions of dollars because he allocates tax dollars to the pharmaceutical companies. It has nothing to do with that. We want him sanctioned. Dana's like, fuck you, guy. I have an idea. I could either do what you're saying, you know, like let's go through our options here. Option one, I do exactly what you're saying and I sanction Rogan and I take his job away. That's one option. I think I'm not going to do that. Or we could go with option two where you go fuck yourself. How about that? How about we go with option two? Why don't you go fuck yourself, Bob Iger? So, big fan of that story, obviously. Congratulations to anybody who is in Dana's inner circle. All right, now let's move over to this story about Sanko and Jamie Varner. And look at this. It's a video of Laura Sanko in her Invicta fight where she strangled her opponent in the second round at Invicta FC4. And we'll understand why that's relevant shortly. So if you guys didn't see it, Jamie Varner, out of nowhere, was at his house, thinking about his former career and probably drinking some booze and popping pills or something and feeling very angry for whatever reason. And he just went off on Laura Sanko on the internet and humiliated himself because it's in a situation where you're pretending to know what you're talking about. And it's like when someone's like, hey, why don't you learn to spell, pal? And they spell S-P-E-L. You know what I mean? You're like, only a dumbass doesn't know how to spell S-P-E-L. You're like, all right, guy. She doesn't have any idea what she's talking about. And here's me proving I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So anyway, so basically, you have the Laura thing has hit back at ex-UFC fighter Jamie Varner, who publicly questioned her commentary credentials. Okay, so Laura Sanko obviously is the first woman to ever work the UFC main desk, all right? If she was not good at doing commentary at the main desk, is there any scenario where she would be doing commentary at the main desk? Okay, this is the thing, like, I know it's like you have like pretty girl in high position. It's like anytime that happens, you will always get people, oh, who'd she fuck to get that job? And it's like, God, dude. You really like, and people are serious. Like that's like a serious comment. And you're like, dude, do you honestly think that someone could sleep their way to the main desk at UFC commentary desk? You really think that? You think Dana's that hard up for that he's like, I mean, listen,
I really did want to put up the best possible show, but I decided to have sex with Laura Sanko is worth putting someone subpar at the desk. It's the dumbest fucking thing ever, okay? You can't sleep your way to one of the most important jobs of the entire broadcast. It's stupid. It's a stupid thing. I see it on social media all the time about her. I'm like, guys, okay? If you're doing it just to troll her, then fucking whatever. But if you actually believe that that's true, you're a fucking idiot, okay? She is obviously an excellent commentator. No one disagrees. I have actually not seen anyone talk negatively about her commentary until this, where I was like, really? I've never heard anyone say anything negative about it. It's super weird. So, however, not everyone enjoyed listening to Sanko's commentary. Former UFC lightweight Varner aimed a social media rant at Sanko, who he claimed didn't have the relevant experience or knowledge to be calling fights for MMA's premier promotion. You're all, are you sure? Like, are you sure that she doesn't know what she's talking about? Have you ever listened to her talk? Have you looked up her martial arts pedigree? Obviously not. Just go to her fucking YouTube channel, watch her give jujitsu instructionals. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean. So here's what he said. It says Laura Sanko sucks so bad at commentating. She's a tryhard that speaks about things she knows nothing about. Talking about blast doubles and how tiring it can be in the first round of a fight. Like, what do you know about any of these things? Stay in your lane, tryhard. Let me actually read her response because it's hilarious. And then he added, Laura Sanko's ruining the fights by talking so much. Leave the commentary to people that have actually fought. A female UFC fighter should have that job. She is just annoying, and it's obvious she is trying so hard and doesn't know what she is talking about. Sanko is a retired MMA fighter who won 4 of her 5 amateur bouts before turning professional with the all-female promotion Invicta FC in 2013. And she won by submission. Her response was awesome. And she said, ironically, Sanko actually competed at the same event as Varner 12 years ago. And she reminded him of that in the response to his commentary. You and I actually fought on the same card in 2011 for Titan FC, she replied. We warmed up next to each other in the basement of the Memorial Hall building in KCK. My best friend braided your hair because you couldn't find anyone to do it. I remember thinking how cool it was at the time to be on a card with you. I had followed your career in the WEC and was a little starstruck, to be honest. It's okay if you don't like my commentary, but respectfully, I've been a part of this game and training since 2006. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and while I can't compare my career to yours, I have in fact fought. And if UFC had a 105-pound division, I would have fought a lot longer. So he said, Varner, who picked up a high profile, he responded by claiming other fight. I do remember that night and appreciate your friend for doing what she did. Oh, you remember that? Then why'd you say she doesn't fight, you fucking idiot? You don't remember that. However, when you rewatch the fights, do you think you are doing a good job? You don't feel like you are forcing it too much? Feels like overcompensating. There are fighters in my DMs that agree with me. Dude, okay, Guy, what are you talking about? This is, okay, you want me to tell you what my biggest pet peeve is on just about that in general? Is why is anyone thinking that being a fighter has anything to do with commentating except for do you understand the moves and all that? Do you really think that those two skill sets are comparable? Like, you need to have the knowledge base to be a commentator, of course. Like, you can't go in there just because you're good on camera and you could talk into a microphone means you're going to do a great job commentating a fight if you don't know dick about fights. But he says, I actually heard him say, like, I think he's like, Holly Holm should have that job. I'm like, really? Okay, I'm a Holly Holm fan. I think Holly Holm's awesome. I was at the fight when she was like, we need to stop sexualizing the children. And I was like, hell yeah. Fuck these creeps. That's right, Holly Holm. Good job. But you really think Holly Holm would do a better job commentating than Laura Sanko? It's on camera. You're talking for a living. Do you think you would do a better job than me talking on YouTube? Why don't you fucking do it, guy? I guarantee you would be pretty stoked about the fucking income I bring in doing this. Just do that, dude. We're talking about MMA. We're talking about combat sports. Just start a fucking YouTube channel, dude. I never fought in the WEC. I never fought in UFC, so you should be able to just crush it doing what I do. Like, it's the stupidest fucking commentary. That is stupid fucking commentary, dude. This is a different skill set. Sitting on camera, talking into a microphone, being engaging. That has nothing to do with fighting. It's stupid. And you're being a fucking prick for absolutely no reason. You really think that they're going to fire Laura Sanko because fucking Jamie Varner said to do it? Like, why? Why do that? You know, why? I don't understand it. Again, You will always, like, anytime I'm in conflict, I feel like I have a very consistent thing here, which is I only do this when I'm defending other people against what I see as like unprovoked attacks. Diego from Fabia, fucking Dylan Dennis getting sued by Logan Paul. Like, Dylan Dennis obviously, you know, had a problem, but like, you were going to bankrupt him? The fuck is wrong with you, dude? This unprovoked attack on the first female, like, she's excellent. She gets a lot of good feedback, but you think that that doesn't hurt her fucking feelings when she reads that? She's nice, but she's a fucking girl, dude. She's still a fucking girl. You know what I mean? Like, I promise you, she loves it when people tell her that she does well, but like, just some fucking asshole goes on and shits on her. You think that's not gonna hurt her feelings? It's fucked up, dude. Don't be a fucking shitbag that abuses girls, asshole. Anyway, that's probably enough. That's what I got. Love you guys. Bye-bye.